Dear Andrew Costa, regarding your proudest moment as Police Commissioner, the true truth about March the 2nd, 2022, is that we were too peaceful for your agenda, and it wasn't a proud day for New Zealand. What is it that makes you feel so proud? Can you share with the New Zealand public one incident to make us all feel as proud as you for the part you played? Ignoring the fact of more than 1 million supporters of the occupation, you publicly gloat on your success with that remark. You weren't speaking to the general public, nor were you addressing police who questioned or disagreed with what you were doing when you said my proudest moment. That only leaves those under your command who did what they were told without question. Your remark was a message to them, an opportunity to reassure them all at the same time publicly that you've got their back. Reassure them and your supporters, sure, but gaslight everyone else in the process? Agitators came into the occupation at the same time as police pulled their plainclothes constables out. Coincidence? I witnessed that. Also, at the same time, police who were posted on the exit points stopped being friendly and began baiting us, trying to trap us in our words. Those were the last of many signs during the occupation that you were also commanding a psychological operation against us. On March the 2nd, 2022, the Molesworth resistance stood firm and peaceful. Then an officer over by the stone wall pulled his baton and swung into us. He got about 4 or 5 hits in before 3 of his own pulled him back to safety behind the police line. Simultaneously, a projectile flew from behind the police line and exploded above us. It was a quiet, muffled puff boom that released white powdery stuff over us. The violence that followed all came from the police line. Any appearance of violence on our side was simply self-defense. 3 men in body armor drag a woman to the ground, then punch and kick her in the ribs, cracking them to incapacitate her. One of many who suffered the same. These aren't police officers on duty. Big, tough, unidentifiable men, armoured and weaponized against the people, lifting the big shields above their heads and ramming the bottom edge of the shields into the necks of those facing them. There are no words in the police conduct manual that sanctions that sort of violence. A man in his 70s, dummy elbowed in the temple, then punched again in the face as he falls to the ground. The fully masked men who started fires were on the team of agitators, and your commanders knew it was going to happen because the fire hoses were already rolled out waiting for it. You were serving Trevor Mallard in your own private capacity and not the public. Trevor Mallard had no jurisdiction over the roads surrounding Parliament, and so his order wasn't legally binding. It was your personal choice to proceed as you did. Can you clearly define the jurisdiction you were operating under when giving the command to remove the occupation? What did your proudest moment as Police Commissioner achieve? Is there a greater level of trust from New Zealanders toward the police? Or are more people than ever before triggered when they see or even think about police? Police working the front line today who had nothing to do with your proudest moment know exactly what you destroyed for them on that day. While you were putting the knife and the citizens' trust in our police. Men and women under your command were literally destroying lives, carrying out your orders. Sunshine, for instance. 20 to 30 minutes of being kicked in one spot on his calf muscle, then being picked up by 3 men and slammed chest first onto the road gutter. He was taken to hospital on his arrest. Every day since then, it is a struggle to keep circulation to his foot. He had a stroke following that day and now suffers seizures without warning, the potential of losing his foot, loads of medication, and CPTSD. Sunshine's life will never be what it was prior to your proudest moment, Andrew. Let's get one thing straight. There is no title deed to any of the roads surrounding Parliament. In contest, ownership of the roads default to tangata whenua. Police weren't representing tangata whenua. Those there on that day representing tangata whenua had the right of way. You and your senior officers claimed aggressive possession of Hill Street, Molesworth Street, Lambton Quay, Kate Shepherd Place and Atkins Street. Your command cleared the roads as though they owned the roads and had every right. Yet you didn't own the roads and you don't own the roads. What was your jurisdiction based on? Your only actual recourse with the occupation was to negotiate. Yet throughout the entire occupation you were unwilling to negotiate, and all attempts to negotiate were strangely frustrated. Why? Instead of being honourable in your duties, you, senior officers and others, planned and executed an incursion into the public as though the public are your enemy. Without the mandate or jurisdiction, you and senior officers coerced police and others to participate in your operation. You've shown no actual reflective thought concerning extremely violent actions perpetrated on some of us from your subordinates. You've not only turned a blind eye to the physical damage you caused to peaceful citizens who had every right to be there, but you cover up this social tragedy and police PR disaster of your creation with words like, "That was my proudest moment." You are a disgrace, Andrew Coster, not a man to be honoured.